Mike, Lucas, Dustin, and Will are best buddies who just love Dungeons and Dragons. After a victorious game winner's on his way home when he's somewhat unexpectedly snatched into an alternate dimension called the Upside Down by a creature called the Demogorgon, it doesn't take long for his mother Joyce and his older brother Jonathan to realize he's missing. So they ask /demand Hawkins, chief of police and lover of quiet mornings, Jim Hopper to help find him on the other side of town. A girl is caught stealing food. Her name is 11 and she's just the tiniest bit messed up. The guy who finds her rang social services. Big mistake. The woman who turns up at the door is an agent working with the shady Dr. Brenner, the scientist who's been testing 11's supernatural abilities, yet she has them in the Hawkins laboratory. She shoots the guy, but thankfully 11 escapes and runs into Mike, Dustin and Lucas when they are searching for Will. The gang hire in Mike's basement, feed her egos and discover her Millennium Falcon levitating powers. Nancy, Mike's older sister, is dating local popular kid and well-meaning prat, Steve Harrington, who invites her to his house party. Not wanting to go alone, she brings her BFF Barb, who she promptly neglects for most of the night, right up until Bob cuts her finger. Nancy goes with Steve to his room and they have sex, leaving her friend waiting by the pool. One moment Barb is there, the next she's gone. Jonathan, searched in the forest where Will's bike was found, captures the moment. She disappears with his camera as he's secretly taking photos of Nancy and Steve. Creepy Barb dies. She's not coming back, so get used to it. Joyce figures out that she can communicate with Will using the lights and completely redecorates the house accordingly. Hopper looks at the tapes from the Hawkins laboratory for any sign of Will, but realizes that they've been fake. He gets pretty damn suspicious. After some good old-fashioned research, he finds out about the lab's dodgy mind control experiments, Project MK Ultra, and Terry Ives, one of the test subjects. Oh, and Will's body is discovered floating in the quarry. No big deal, but he's not dead, which we know because 11 users are walkie-talkie to tune into him. Frelly's singing in the Upside Down. Dold, initiate makeover montage as the boys disguise her so they can get her to the powerful radio at school, which she can use to locate Will. They decline to share this critical information with Joyce, however, who refuses to believe Will is dead. Her suspicions are confirmed when she's Will calling to her from within the walls of their house, and after going mad at said war with an axe, finds the membrane dividing Hawkins from the Upside Down with her beloved son on the other side. Then the demagogue, and tears through her wall, which comes as a bit of a shock. Steve and his crew find out Jonathan's been taking pictures of them and are understandably a little bit miffed, so they break his camera and wrap up his photos. Nancy gathers up the scraps featuring Barb and upon seeing the demagogue and in the photo, realizes that whatever took Barb matches the description Joyce gave of the creature that came through her wall. Nancy lets the police know Barb is missing finally. Meanwhile, Hopper breaks into the morgue and finds that Will's body is gassed, a fake thanks to the wonderful powers of Dungeons and Dragons and 11. The boys figure out that Will is trapped in the Upside Down and that there should be a gate. Thinking it and Hawkins, they follow their compasses to try and find it. But 11 manipulates the needles as she's scared of encountering the Demogorgon. Lucas finds out he isn't happy as he and Mike fight. 11 accidentally uses her telekinesis to push Lucas away and knocks him out. He eventually comes round, but by then 11 has disappeared. Hop was having a similarly eventful time back at the lab as he finds the spooky, creepily fleshy gate into the Upside Down. But he's knocked out, wakes up in his apartment, and finds that it's been bad government. His deputies turn up and tell him they found Barbara's car. What? Barbara Holland's car? Seems she ran away after. Hopper is not buying it. Nancy and Jonathan investigate the forest to try and find the Demogorgon. Instead, they find another gate into the Upside Down. Nancy crawls through it and is haunted by the monster before escaping back into the real world. Understandably, Nancy is terrified to be alone, so she asks Jonathan to stay over at hers. In a heartwarming turn of events, Steve is worried about his girlfriend, so decides to check on her, finds the two together and assumes they're an item. Not knowing this, in the morning, the pair go and buy everything they need to kill the Demogorgon, and finds has been vandalizing Hawkins with insults about Nancy. Steve and Jonathan have a punch-up. Jonathan accidentally hits a cop and gets arrested. Hopper and Joyce go on a little road trip to meet Terry Ives, except she's not all there. Her sister tells them that Terry believes the government abducted Jane, her unborn child, because she had special powers. Remembering the drawings he saw at the lab, Hopper believes Jane, or 11 as we know her, is in Hawkins. Mike and Dustin are on the hunt for the same girl and are menaced by bullies. The two mouth breathers make Mike jump off the edge of a cliff. Enter 11. She levitates monitor safety and breaks the arm of the prick who's been bullying them. Lucas sees agents leaving the lab and tells Mike that they are heading to his house. Mike, Dustin, and 11 escaping the most epic way possible. They will make up Joyce and Hopper, go to the police station and find Jonathan and Nancy there. Teaming up, all four contact Mike and Co to take on the government and find world together. To maximize 11's powers, they build a makeshift sensory deprivation tank. The school, there's good news and bad news. Bad news, 11 finds Barb, who is still dead. Good news, she detects Will hiding in the Upside Down. Hopper and Joyce are then discovered when they try to break into the lab to go through the gate and find Will. Nancy and Jonathan snatch their hunting stuff back from the police station. Bad news again. The Demogorgon finds Will. Hopper reluctantly trades 11's location in exchange for letting himself and Joyce go into the Upside Down while his mom is away. Jonathan and Nancy booby-trap Joyce's house in preparation for fighting the Demogorgon. Steve arrives. Just after Jonathan and Nancy cut their hands to some of the monster, the three stab, shoot, and set the monster on fire. But it escapes back to the Upside Down. Brenner and his goons appear at the school. But before they can claim her, 11 kills them all. The catastrophic amount of blood summons the Demogorgon, which attacks Brenner. Hopper and Joyce find and save Will in the Upside Down. Something icky was down his throat. Best not to dwell on that for too long. 11 destroys the Demogorgon and seemingly herself in the process. Yeah, right, the boys and will reunite in hospital. Outside of the hospital, Hopper is picked up by an ominous black car. Flash forward a month. It's Christmas. At the police Christmas party, Hopper nabs some food and places it in a hidden box in the woods within the cozy warmth of his home. Will excuse himself from Christmas dinner to go and wash his hands. Plus he coughs up a slug and seems to step into the Upside Down for a second. He tells no one that won't come back to haunt him at all.